Hello, how was your day? Thank you so much for choosing the award-winning TV station that is Maisha Television Kenya. Welcome to Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rita Kering Chebet, and of course I'm not alone in studio. I'm with two ladies. We have Sarah Muridhi, a wife. She is a mother, she is a counselor, she is also a church leader. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes, Sarah is with me in studio, and then we are joined by Irene Mumbo Bushebi, who is in United States. How are you, Irene?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so in our last program, we talked about demystifying submission in a relationship, and we talked about a number of issues, and today's show is a continuation of the same. We talked about a number of issues, and just a recap on the same. We described what submission is. Sarah and Irene gave their view on what submission is. They also painted a picture of submission in our current generation, in our parents' generation, and the current generation, that is. And then we talked about how submission varies from couple to couple. It is not the same thing. The way you submit to your husband is not the same way another person submits to their husband. Then we talked about how some men abuse the term submission as a power play, and others also defined it as slavery. So those are some of the issues we tackled in our last program on demystifying submission in a relationship. And today's show will be a continuation of the same. As we begin the show, let me give Sarah Muridhi a moment to say hello to you. And I'll also give Irene also one minute to say hi.
Hello viewers, afternoon. I'm good, and I wish to welcome you to this show. Thank you for always being there for us, commenting and also listening. Karibuni sana.
Yes, karibuni sana. Irene, just a word to our viewer.
Hello, viewers. Thank you so much for always staying there. We love you, we appreciate you, and we say karibu sana.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies, for that. So we are going to get into our discussion, and my first question will be to you, Sarah Muridhi. Do you think that as women understand what submission is, but we just choose to ignore it?
We do. We as women, we understand very much what is submission, but at times we ignore to do as we are supposed to do it. Because I know that when we are being brought up by our parents, there are those expectations that they always feed us in our minds, and they tell us that one day you're going to get married, you're going to have your own home.
Yes.
And when you get into your home, this is what is expected of you.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting into this home, I know that one, I'm supposed to submit to my husband because he's the authority. And when I get to my house, because of one thing or the other, I may decide not to submit to this authority. So we know, but we decide not to do it. At the moment we decide not to do it, we do not know that we are destroying our marriages because of just being ignorant or just assuming things. Why I said that, we know, it's like I've said that when parents are bringing us up, they prepare us to become a wife to somebody. And they know that one, we should respect our husbands. Two, we should be polite to them. We should be obedient to them. And we should also be gentle when handling them.
Yes.
Because like the Bible says, they are the higher authority over us. I remember it is a woman who was going to a man's home. So that is his home. And being his home, it means that he is the authority.
Yes.
And you know, submission is you are submitting to the higher authority. And so women know that their husband are above them, but because we want to be equal, we want to be equal in every level, and that's why we refuse to submit. So I can say we know, but we are just at times refusing to do it because of one thing
or
another thing. Yeah.
Well, I'll throw the same question to you, Irene. Do you think that women know what is expected of them in terms of submission, but they just opt not to adhere to them?
Yeah, of course we can say yes. Most of the time we know what is expected of us as women, and because of some issues, maybe something like we discussed the other time, we were talking about the same. We said that, you know what, sometimes we just don't submit, or we submit the wrong way. You know, there's submission, but now sometimes we submit the wrong way just because we are looking around us. You know, we are seeing what other people are doing and we're saying, okay, so if this is what people are, then we just go for it. And this is where we were saying that, you know what, submission. And I think just before we get into this, you've just been introducing what we said the other time, and you're saying that some men have abused this issue of submission. And this is where now this also comes in. And that's why I would say that, you know, submission, ignoring submission would be into two parts, where, you know the right thing to do, you are not doing it, or you know the right thing to do, you are doing it, but you're doing it the wrong way. You see, so in that two categories, or in the two categories, we would say that yes, we know what we are supposed to do, and then we are not just doing it right, with the fact that if you are doing it the way it's supposed to be, then we found that most of us would be like, okay, why is it that I'm continuing to do this, you know, and other people are not doing it? You see, where we were talking, we were introducing also culture in this, that we have different cultures, and now the culture thing brings in the issue that it's not just that if it is submission, there are these things that I have to do despite the fact that maybe he's not doing what he needs to do, or at the same time you find that you are not just doing the right thing because you are looking around you and you're saying that other people are not doing this, so I'm not going to do it also. So we find that yes, we know what we are supposed to do, but we ignore it because we look around us, we get other factors affect what real submission is supposed to be, and then we end up not doing what exactly needs to be done. So when I'm talking about this, I'm saying that yes, as a woman, so talking about the first one, as in, you know what you're supposed to do, and then you're not just doing it. That is where I was introducing the culture thing, and I was saying that there are these cultures, like we're talking about it, the Western culture, where, you know, it is a reversed way of doing what was supposed to be done, you know, and then now that is what we embrace because we say that is what fits us according to that culture, you see. So in that case, you see that submission is like, it's even reversed, that it looks like the man is the one who is supposed to be submitting, and then now the woman takes the other part of it, you see. So at the same, it will be like this woman knows that she is the one who is supposed to be on the other side of it, you know, like she's the one who is supposed to be submitting, looking into it, basing on what we see, maybe the African culture, and looking at the religion at the same time. We find that it is the woman who is supposed to be submitting. And when I'm saying this with a lot of reservation, remembering the other point that we just tackled, that also, you know, we should not be enslaved even if it is a matter of submission. So wakati mtu anaamua kuwa submissive, that is the woman anakuwa submissive, isiwe kwamba inatumika vibaya kwamba the man is not giving the love that is due. Mwanamume, you need to give that love to the submission so that it becomes a whole pack as it's supposed to be. You see, so in the occasion where the woman is submitting, yes, is not giving, you know, the love, but the woman continues to submit, you see, simply because our culture also dictates that it doesn't matter. You know, you will be ignoring what it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be that two part of it. But submission comes in, then love has to follow in step. So we find that yes, we would answer this question with a large perspective of it, putting in consideration when we are doing the right thing and also when we are doing the wrong thing, still we would be ignoring, such that if we are doing the right thing, then it means that the other party needs to also jump in to help us complete the good thing that we are doing, so that it doesn't look like an oversight on what we were supposed to do. That is, we are just giving the submission and we are not in a position where we are given love in return. So, that would look like we are also ignorant, because we are trying to say that, okay, at the end of the day, let me just submit. It doesn't matter. It's because every other woman is submitting in my society, you see. On the other end, when I decide and say that, you know what, I'm not going to submit, because in our culture, it is more of the man has to submit, you see. So that is where I'm talking about the ignorance coming in, like we ignore what really we need to do, you see.
Okay, let's talk about the same where we say that some women, sometimes women know what is expected of them, but they just choose to ignore it. Previously, we talked about submission varying from couple to couple. I'd like us to go back a little bit, so that even someone who is joining us for the first time today can catch up. Even if maybe someone does not know how she is supposed to submit to their husbands. Maybe I'll start with you, Sarah. Just paint a picture or give them some advice or explanation on how submission varies from couple to couple.
The submission varies from couple to couple in this way, how he has been brought up, and what their religion entails. Because if you have been brought up whereby your religion says that the man is the authority of that family, a woman, you're expected to be submissive to this man. And if another couple, the wife has not been brought up in any religion, because those don't attend churches, so has not been told who is the head of that family, so she'll get in there and she'll be telling the husband what to do instead of her submitting to the husband. And again, if this couple has been brought up in a culture whereby it dictates again that the husband is the head of the family, so she has to be submissive. And remember, the training is very different, because you can be trained that when your husband is a sole sayer of that family, he's on who can make decision. The wife, you are not just be, you just be seen and not be heard. And another couple, the wife has been trained that you can be heard and at the same time you can be seen in that family. So see, these are two different couples whereby one family, one girl or one woman has come from a background of their culture, allowing her to also take part in the decision making of that family. So this couple, this woman will be well ready to submit to the husband. Whereas this one has been taught in otherwise, that the husband has got no say in the home. The woman is the one who has a say in the home. When you get into that family, what will happen? No submission from the wife. She's expecting submission to come from the husband. And conflict will always come. Whereby the man knows that my wife is supposed to be submissive, but she's not submissive. So culture, religion dictates a lot, and also even personality. Because there are those personalities, I normally say, the women who are strong-willed. You notice, to be a strong-willed, your self-esteem is high, it is not low. So you know what you want for yourself. You don't have to be told what you need to do. So such women are saying, like, in vain may use Kiswahili, like they are big-headed. You get, so English big-headed, that they cannot be told. No, it is because they know their self-worth. And so when they are submitting and the husband is not giving in the love that is needed, the wife will feel like she's been taken for granted. And now she'll not submit, but she'll do what herself is telling herself. You get? So, and this is where the difference comes in: the upbringing, the culture, the religion, and also the personality that is in us. So you'll find, like, the way I relate with my husband, the way it could be I relate to the husband, because we are brought up in different cultures. There are those cultures that trains a child, a girl, from the word go when she's growing up. Like we talk about Uganda, submission is kneeling down. I see them being like this. But as we are not taught that way, We are trained differently. So this one who has been trained that submission is kneeling down, she will continue kneeling down to her husband. This one who has been taught that submission is not shouting back or talking back at your husband, she will not talk back at the husband.
Yes.
This one who has been trained that you're not supposed to be heard, and when visitors come, your work is just to serve them and then you disappear back to the kitchen. You're not supposed to sit with these visitors. What will you do? You'll go back to the kitchen after your work, because that is what you've been trained what submission is. And those who have been trained, or they have an opportunity, they have been making decision together with their father and their mother there.
Yeah.
So even when she comes now to this husband, they can sit down and they can talk and they can come to an agreement. So submission differs from couple to couple, according to the way you have been brought up, according to what your religion tells you, because culture and religion is what shapes the society when it comes to submission in families or in marriages. So I agree it differs because of those different things. And I would advise the women, because actually no, we cannot have two heads in a family. We must have one who is talking and the other is listening. The women should accept to be submissive so that the marriages work. Irrespective of your husband not being submissive, just try to be submissive, because tit for tat never ate nicely. And you are in the same house, you live together. If we are agreed to be submissive, Chebet, and I'm sure Irene will agree with me, we are not going to have the many divorces and separation that we have nowadays. It is because we have refused to be submissive. The women have refused to be submissive, like Irene was saying, because you see a couple working in their relationship this way, and you think that is the way to go. Like, I would come with an issue and I want to share with a lady friend, and could be it is my marriage issue. I'm sure the advice will be given, kama ni mimi wewe, hata huko sigefanya nini? Sigeishi. Ama nigemtandika sawa sawa. So, you get. And when I'm giving such advice, and I go apply it on my husband, who knows that it is mimi kusema, what will happen? A slap will land on me, or the next time be told, just pack and go back to your home, first be taught manners. So, couples are going to differ in their submission way because of even their surrounding. How you see another woman treating a husband, you may think that is what is right. How you saw your mother treating your father, again, it is going to contribute to how submissive this woman is going to be in their marriage. Supposing this child or this young lady was brought up by an aunt or a grandmother, because the mother was not there for them, either they passed on or they separated, or it was just a hit and run, and then the child came, and now she's brought up in that surrounding whereby even the grandmother got tired of now bringing the children, because she already brought her children up. You get what I mean? So when this now woman goes and starts her family, she may not even know where to begin when it comes to submission. And that is when now the husband will come in and understand the wife and start submitting by showing love to this woman, because now this woman becomes the wife. So he should show love to this woman. And you know, women just want to be loved. And you know, loving, it's not just telling somebody, I love you. We need to see actions out of what you are telling me. Because you cannot tell me, I love you, and yet your eyes are somewhere else. You cannot tell me, I love you, but you cannot even accommodate my mistakes. You cannot tell me, I love you, and yet you cannot respect me. You're abusing me in front of your friends. You're putting me down in front of your family members. That is not love. We know that love is kind, love is patient. So couples who are into a marriage and the husband is not patient with the wife, I do not see how the wife is going to be submissive. A couple that has a man who has been trained to be patient and to be loving and to be respectful, the wife is going to be submissive, because it is being reciprocated by the man. And coming back to the question you asked, do we ignore? And I said yes. We ignore because if you are not loved, I also get tired. I'll start asking myself, surely, do I belong to this man? Do I belong in this family? If this couple, for example, the husband does not even respect the wife in front of the children, is treating the wife like another child, yet this is an adult, surely, do you think this wife is going to submit?
No.
You not submit. So couples differ in the way they submit to one another because of those different upbringing and those different factors that now either environmental, that we pick from the environment and bring them into our homes.
Yes, some good points there from Sarah Murithi. Submission varies from our cultures, the environment, and also what is in your marriage. You don't expect a woman to submit when she does not feel that she's being loved back. So the same question to you, Irene. We've talked about women. Some women maybe they know what they are supposed to do in terms of submission, but they ignore. But maybe our ignore to Bure, there is a reason behind it. Does submission vary from couple to couple?
Yeah, that variance is very vividly seen when we apply the three areas where Sarah has also tried to tackle. That is the social status, the culture, the religion. And you find that if socially, for example, like now we have a women rep, Tibet, you become a women rep and you're married, it's like your status as a women rep would like be demanding that your husband looks like he's under you. Remember when we were defining what submission is, we were talking about yielding to someone who is in a higher authority. So look at you, a women leader, and here you have a husband, and this is the definition of what submission is. So what is going to happen, as much as we would want to, that come back to what really now submission is in terms of marriage, the leadership thing will still crop up most of the time, and you find that a woman, you look like, or even if not look like, that is what comes out, broadly, like I'm a leader in the society and I demand for, the submission. And so even at home, and I think this is where now we were discussing at some point that, as much as you are who and who out there, when you come home, you become the wife of that home. You are not that who you are out there, you see, so that you need to command the same respect that you command out there in the marriage. So it is very important that we also look into this so that we don't just ignore what we need to do, as we are saying, but just continue doing what needs to be done, not looking into maybe our social status. Are you getting that? And now, secondly, when we come to the culture, we were talking about this, and we were saying that in the culture, we know that as a woman, there is a lot of demand that you just continue submitting, despite the fact that maybe the husband is not giving his end of it. That is, he's not loving you back. So you are expected, even if you try to show out that, he's not loving me, and so that is why I'm not also submitting. You will see that everybody in the society or out there will tell you, we don't do anything less of submission if you are in our society, So it doesn't matter what your husband is doing. What needs to be done is you have to submit. You see, so that is where now it comes in, like, I'm submitting, but, I'm not just submitting because I want it or because I'm getting the whole pack. I'm submitting because I'm forced to get into submission. And that is where we are getting into the slavery bit of it that we are talking about. So there we find that we are also looking like we are ignorant of what needs to be done, because we cannot get out there and demand what needs to be our portion, so that we also give what is due for the husband in this case. So the issue of being ignorant of what needs to be done still crops up. And so when we come to religion, we get that in the religious bit of it now, that is where we find that it has to be love and submission. And so here we get that sometimes even if the husband would feel like in our society, it doesn't matter, you must submit even if I'm not giving you the love bit of it. The religious bit of it demands that the husband has to give this love. And so if you claim to be in that religious space, then it has to be everybody gives their part, and even above that or beyond what is expected of us. This is where you find that also some a bit of slavery looks to crop in, because you find that here, this is where maybe the woman would demand a lot from the man. She knows that she needs to be loved. And because religion demands this, she gives very little in terms of submission, but the man has no option, because you know what? You have to love this wife, you see. So the man might go out of his way to just try and love the wife, despite the fact that she's not submitting, because the religious space demands that love has to be given, you see. So the ignorance bit of it now again crops up here, you see. Or even if it is vice versa, the wife gives her submission, the husband really knows that it is love he needs to give, and because we are in that space, then he just demands the submission from the wife and not really looking into the love bit of it. Though I know in religious setup, if it is a real religious setup where people really need to do this right, we have stages unto which we can tackle this, so that each one of us is giving what is due that person, you see that. So yes, we are so ignorant when it comes to submission, because of every area that affects our life, whether be it social, and then we are talking about religious and culturally. Sometimes we overlook what we need to do. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Irene, for that, and thank you, Sarah. I think you're going to take a short commercial break there. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. Our discussion is demystifying submission in relationships. It is just a continuation of our previous show, where we tackled a number of issues concerning the same. My name is Rida Kering Chebet, with Sarah Mridi, together with Irene Mombo Bushebi. We're taking a short commercial break. Stay tuned for the second part of Maisha Prime Women Talk.
Three young people who scored more than 350 marks from poor families in Lamu County.
They said it is a time to put political differences aside.
The CS further lauded the efforts of police officers in the last 100 days.
The leaders affirmed their party has a close relationship with the president.
strength enough for the journey. But a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Join Irene Mumbo Bushebi and Rita Kering on Prime Women Talk every Wednesday from 8 p.m. exclusive to MTV. This is the place where it all happened. The stories that continue to change our country.
And at present, we have got one student who is now at a BBC World Service working.
These are the faces we see.
Business Studies
is Madam Susan Masaba,
Walter Panusuamire,
Usolo Shem Bilembwa,
the voices we hear.
Glad you're tuned in. You're still tuned in to Maisha TV. Now every day here on Maisha Prime News, we air feature from different schools across the country
that have revolutionized societies through education. This is who we are. One channel, one bulletin. Masomo News Live. Join us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. for Masomo News Live, exclusive to Maisha TV. Hii ni stesheni iliyochaguliwa kuwa bora zaidi na kupewa ushindi wa kuza na kitengo cha mawasiliano cha serikali.
And the winner is Maisha TV.
Maisha TV. Stesheni inayokuwa kwa kasi. Stesheni inayokujali mtazamaji.
You can trust the award-winning TV station.
Stesheni inayojali mwananchi wa Kenya.
Biashara imeanza kudidimia sana, unapata customer wanalia.
Stesheni inayotoa mafunzo, maelezo na taarifa kwa kina zaidi.
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News.
For Maisha Prime. For Maisha Prime.
For Maisha Prime Education Segment.
For Maisha Prime News.
Hii ni runinga ya Maisha.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rita Kering Chebet, and you're watching the award-winning TV station Maisha Television Kenya. You can find us our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. Our phone number is 0746 999 841. You can text that number, you can call, or you can WhatsApp, and we will definitely get back to you. I'm not alone in studio. I'm with Sarah Murithi. She is a mother, she is a wife, a counselor, and a church leader. We also have Irene Mumbo Bushebi, a counselor as well. She is a mother, she is a wife, and she is a pastor, and she is joining us live from US. Welcome to the second part, Sarah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the second part, Irene.
Thank you.
Yes, and we are talking about demystifying submission, and I know that Irene and Sarah really explained well how submission varies from couple to couple. Don't expect your wife to submit the way your friend's wife submits. It varies based on culture, religion, and the environment in which she was brought up. And so moving on away from that now, is there a condition for submission to happen? Should a man create a foundation so that the submission bit will happen in marriage? Let's start with you, Sarah.
Yes, there is, and that is love. Love should be the foundation which a man creates for the wife, so that the wife feels, for sure, submission will come naturally. You will not force it. You will not feel like you are a slave in that home.
Yes.
Because like I was saying there earlier before, that love is respect, love is kind, love is patient. And if I want to explain about respect, it is the way that you talk to me. Do you put me down in front of your friends? Do you want to prove to me like I am good for nothing in that family? That is not love. So the moment a husband lays foundation based on love, and even that is what the religion say, the wife will be able to submit because she's feeling that she's part and parcel of this man. And so when I say that love is a foundation, or should be the condition that a husband is given, it is very important that when a woman, you say that your man has created a foundation for you basing it on love, you are not supposed to submit freely without feeling like you are being forced to, or without feeling like you are being enslaved to this man, because he has done his part to love you the way you are and to accommodate your failures and to teach you so that next time you don't become a failure. Because men should teach their wives where they feel they are not up to the standard, and when they are taught out of love, they are not going to feel hurt. Their self-esteem is not going to be lowered, it is going to be raised. Because when the foundation is not founded on love, the husband will trample on the feelings of the wife, or the man is just going to take the wife for granted. And the moment a woman feels I am being taken for granted, this is what now we are saying, we are going to ignore what we know. That is submission. And now we are going to handle you the way you want us to handle you. And that is, we are going to handle you with no respect at all. And let me tell you, there is nothing bad like a woman when she feels now she's fed up. Because actually we can treat the men the way they are not supposed to be treated. But who brought it upon us? It is the man. Because he was not able to build a foundation of submission based on love. And men should not base their foundation of submission on their finances. I'm not supposed to submit to you because you provide for me. That is your duty. Provide what you're supposed to provide. Make me comfortable. Buy for me clothes. Feed me proper. Take me outings. Show me off to your friends. You get? Respect me and to go to your in-laws. Because that is what you're supposed to do for me. So you cannot come and tell a woman that you need to respect a man because he's providing for you with everything. Ati nilimnunulia gari, kwa hivyo she should respect me. Buy that vehicle with a lot of love, knowing it is your responsibility. And even the men should know that the way they command their employees out there, they should not come to command the wives in their house if they do not want the woman to refuse to submit. So I want to answer your question very clearly, Chebet. And I say a man should should base or should come up with the foundation of his marriage based on love, not on material wealth. No. What ile siku itaisha, what will happen? Because now you based it on material.
Submission will also end there.
It will end. I don't even respect him. It will end there completely. But what if it is based just genuine love? Hata mwanamume afirisike, submission will still be on the higher level. So men should be wise and they should be able to create a foundation of love. And I like saying that love is not just telling a woman, I love you. I need to be shown I'm loved. And there's so many things of showing me that I am loved.
Yeah.
There's so many things of showing a woman that she is loved.
Yeah.
And you accept her with her flaws. You know, at times you know when a man marries a woman, does not marry actually a woman in the initial marriage,
Yeah.
they marry a girl who is size 8 or YGB figure 8 and then now when you get into that house, of course there is a transition, because when you get children, the body changes. You become, now you are not figure 8.
Yeah.
Now you become a huge woman. The man, Eve, wakati alikuwa anapenda huyu mwanamke based it on love, even when you get into that home and you change the physical appearance, the man will still be submissive with love. You'll not now be looking at the wife and saying, she has a balloon, and so he starts comparing her with a girl outside there, forgetting she was also a girl. She has only become a woman when she has been married to him.
Yeah.
So when marriage or submission is based on the foundation of love, again I repeat what I said in the beginning, we are not going to have separation, we are not going to have divorces, because there is love that protects our image, there is love that protects my ego. You know, these two things, if they are hurt, the ego and the image, a woman will not submit. She'll be wondering, why should I submit? Yet, he is seeing me with another ego, not of love, but of hate or disrespect. So, submission should be based on love. And that is what religion says. A man should be able to love the wife, and the wife should be able to submit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same to you, Irene. Should there be a condition, or is there a condition for submission to be there? Should a man lay a foundation?
Yeah. When you come back to what submission is, we just say that, submission is yielding to someone in authority or in higher authority. And so when we talk about this, we are looking at the man here who is in the higher authority, and then now the woman has to submit. So you see, if we look at it from that point, you find that whoever is in authority is expected to lay down so many foundations, and to which now those people who are yielding to that particular person can stand on, so that they show or they give out their submission. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the love bit of it. And that is why we talk about now submitting to the man. You submit to the man because the man has shown love. Love is the foundation of a marriage. And as we define love, I think each one of us now know, who has been following us closely, that love is more sacrifice than all the talk about this. We find automatically drifting to the fact that a foundation has to be set by the husband, so that the wife will automatically yield. You won't expect this woman, to be lying low every other day. And that is why we are talking about enslaving. She is lying low, or she's doing what she needs to do correctly at the right time, with the right people. And then the foundation unto which she's standing on is loose or is broken. So you'll find that at the end of the day, this lady, she won't have any place to anchor herself. So you find that the submission becomes so shaky, and at the end of the day, even the submission will fail to be there. So we find that in many occasions, many women have shown like it is submission bit of it, but in reality, you get into their inner them, you find that submission is not there. They are giving a show. A show is something that we want to produce it, or we want to show it very good. but in the inside you might find the tatters, you know, that are not defined. So many women are in that place where, yes, in the outside you can think they're submissive, they're doing all that needs to be done, but you get them in the inside, then you find that it is not real what they're portraying out there. You see, and this is what has brought about these marriages that we see today, because a marriage is not just what we see happening. It is more of the inside of us, because, you know, we are going to produce something out of it. Everything that is within you gives birth to something that continues to another level. So if you're not going to be very keen onto what you're doing, as we've seen it, like many people just give a show that, you know what, I'm submitting to my man. And why are we getting there? It is because that foundation, which is love, that needs to be given by the husband, is not there. What we are doing is a show. What we are doing is to fulfill, you know, the desires of other people who surround us. But the reality of who we are, the reality of what really our marriage is supposed to be, is not there. And we find that this marriage is very shaky to an extent that the next level of this marriage, why am I talking about the next level? The people that we are producing from us, because we know when we come up with a marriage or a family, we are expected to have, you know, the next generation. So this next generation that we are producing, because what we instill in them so that they create or they come up with the next generation is not what is expected. And that is where what has landed us to where we are today in terms of marriage and, you know, family. Because looking into what culture has given us, looking into what even religion, as I was talking about it, and the society, we find that the foundation unto which we are laying our marriages and, you know, the whole thing is shaky. Why? Because the person who was supposed to lay this foundation did not lay it as it's supposed to be. Any marriage, look at it, if it is not based on the love, which is now the bit that the husband brings into it as the leader, as the authority, then let me tell you, it's not gonna work right. And not even just today as in that marriage, but even in future, the generation that will follow up. And so we have very shaky marriages which give birth to those ones that I don't even have a name. You know, we are having marriages that we don't have even their names. You've seen them, where a man is marrying a man. Those things, where are they coming from? Somebody has sat down, and said, how can I be, you know, a wife to somebody who has never loved me? So I think I got another girl and we say that we are married and, you know, we just live our life. That is where it gets us to. So these things, as much as we can discuss and say, you know, what culture is affecting us, religion is affecting us, what are we producing out of it? And this is where now the foundation has to be brought up. That man who is in that marriage, I know it might look like we're expecting so much from the men, but you know what? It's not about us. It's about the person who came up with this issue of love. And we find that the institution of love was brought up by God himself. And this is how he did set it up. So if we want to go and if we want to put something else, then let me tell you, it is all shaky. We are bringing in something that is not going to help us in the future simply because we started going or doing it wrong from the beginning. So the man, you must lay the foundation, and that is love. Thank you.
Well, as we wind up this discussion, I know that the Bible says women or wives submit to your husbands, and husbands love your wives. What is your advice, Sarah, to women out there who are not obeying this rule? Submit to your husbands.
I'll just advise them to submit to their husbands because there is the advantage of submission.
Mm-hmm.
And one advantage of submission is that you're going to have a healthy marriage. And this is the marriage you're able to bring up your children in the right way to grow. And when you submit, we are going even to reduce the separation and the divorce rates. Okay, because if a woman is able to submit and the wife is able to give back that submission, even adultery will not come in. A man will not feel like she is not loved by the husband, and so she'll go out to seek for somebody else who can give that love. So submission has a lot of advantages. So women, please submit, and submission is not foolishness, and submission is not slavery. Submission is going to make you have a very healthy marriage. Yeah.
As Irene, to you too, what is your advice to a woman out there who is not submitting to their husband? As Sarah said, maybe they feel that this is slavery or it is foolishness.
Okay, yeah. So, as I've just mentioned, it is that some of these things are beyond us. You know, as much as you'd say that, okay, why should I be submitting? I think submission is the right thing to do, and if you do it, you know, you are fulfilling, you know, the plan of the person who started what marriage is. So, you know, if I come up with the plan of a house and I complete that house, you know, by building it the way the plan is coming up with it, then, you know, I'll come up with a beautiful home, a beautiful house. But if I decide to do it against the plan, automatically we know what will come up. So those people or those women or some of us who are not submitting, what we need to do is go back there, because hatuna option. The moment we try to run around and say that, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm not getting this, I'm not. So if you change always starts with me. So if I cannot change anything, then it means no, the other person will not change. So I'm talking to us as women that, you know what, this is the right thing to do. Let's go ahead and do it, as much as it looks like maybe there's too much demand from us. And as we've discussed so many things here, the basis of it is that this is what the master plan came up. And so thank you so much. We have to do it.
So, another question to you, Irene, maybe before I just leave you, what will be your advice to men out there who are also misusing this term and who are making women see submission as slavery?
What did you just say? The men who
are misusing this term submission.
Okay, you are saying those men who are abusing submission, yes. Yeah. So, okay, what I could say to them is that they just don't know what they are doing, because, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to get the best out of your wife or out of your partner as the wife, that is, then if you use this submission the wrong way, then automatically what you're going to get is not the right thing. Just as I was mentioning, is that the outside I might look like I'm really doing what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, we are not getting what needs to be gotten out of it. So what I'm saying is that the men, if they continue doing this, then we are coming up with a generation that will be so difficult for us. And basically, it will roll down to the men, because it, as the authority, as the leaders in it, then what were they doing? It means somebody did not do something right, and now it is you, because you abused something that would have generated the best. Yeah. But because of not generating that best, we getting to the worst. So I know so many times we are told, and even sometimes the Bible rolls back to us and tells us that, you know what, mtoto mjinga mpumbavu ni wa mama. You see.
Yeah.
The reason just why they are saying this is that mama hakufundisha mtoto kile ambacho baba alikuwa amesema afundishe mtoto. Are you seeing this? So as much as wanasema ni wa mama, tujue kwamba hii makosa, the bigger picture, not just mentioning the other, it's just that it is silent. So you know what, if they are talking about huyo mtoto ni wa mama, ujue kwamba kwa sababu gani ni wa mama. Mama alipeana the wrong instructions kwa mtoto kwa sababu because Baba is the authority. He is.
Well, I think we are having a connection problem there. I'll ask the same question to you, Sarah, on the same. What is your advice to men out there who are misusing this term submission?
I'll advise them to do that which is right for them as the head of their families. That is, they don't take their women for granted. They respect their wives if they want to be treated right. And remember that men, you also are a role model to your sons in that home.
Yeah.
So if you misuse submission in your family, it means that your son, when he gets married, he is also going to do the same,
Yeah.
because that is what you taught him. So for you man, so that you can have a very peaceful home, it is good that you do not misuse submission. Remember, women are not objects or subjects, but they are your co-workers or they are helpers with you in that family. So do that which is right, and you are going to make your wife only talk about you and have eyes just for you. When you misuse it, you are going to also to get the price of not receiving submission, and you are all to blame. You're not to blame anybody, not to blame your wife, but to blame yourself. So use submission wisely. Submission does not mean that you use it to oppress your spouse. No, just use it wisely so that your marriage can be good, you can be role example to somebody else is looking up to you. Could be even a friend want to look up to you, but you do not know. So if you use it or you misuse it, what are you telling your friend? This is the way to go. So you also end up destroying somebody somewhere else. So please, men out there, just do not misuse submission.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sarah Muredi, together with Irene Mumbo Bushebi. Due to some connections, a problem, I think we've lost her, but we hope that she'll be back soon to join us here in studio. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rita Kering Chebet, and our topic today was demystifying submission in a relationship. And we've gotten some advices there from Sarah Muridi together with Irene Mumbo Bushebi. Until next time, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.